November job growth fell far short of what economists predicted. According to the Labor Department, the U.S. added just 210,000 new jobs last month. But in a sign of progress, the unemployment rate fell to 4.2%. CBS News' senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang has reaction from the president and business owners.
On Wall Street, stocks slid in response to the latest jobs report, which offered mixed signals about the U.S. economy. A weaker than expected jobs number, but also a drop in unemployment, bringing it to the lowest point since the start of the pandemic in March 2020. President Biden, who is nursing a cold, celebrated the progress.
We're looking at the sharpest one-year decline in unemployment ever. Simply put, America's back to work, and our jobs recovery is going very strong.
But Americans are still facing sky-high prices on everything from groceries to cars to furniture, with inflation at its highest rate in 31 years.
Families are anxious. They're anxious about the cost of living, the economy more broadly. They're still uncertain. I want you to know I hear you.
One sector of the economy that continues to struggle hiring new workers, the hospitality industry. Last month, it added 23,000 jobs, but it is still down 1.3 million pre-pandemic positions.
Business-wise, we're up almost 40% over last year.
The problem for Florida restaurant owner Jay Johnson is that his staff is down by 10%, so his employees are forced to pick up the slack.
So some of them are working 6 days, some of them are working 7 days, and I need to get them rested so they don't burn out.
Weijia Jiang joins me now from the White House for more. Weijia, first, the president clearly sounded raspy during his remarks Friday and confirmed that he was not feeling well. What can you tell us?
Well, the White House says that President Biden has a common cold and he's treating it with over-the-counter medicine and cough drops. They also released a statement from the president's doctor, and it's a doctor's note saying he was treated for several illnesses, including COVID-19, the flu, strep throat, all of which came back negative. As for that cold, the president says he caught it from his 1.5-year-old grandson who likes to kiss Pop. And as a mom of young kids, you and me, we understand what that means. They are germ spreaders.
They're little germ magnets, those children. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Good to know that those tests came back without any more serious concerns than the common cold. Weijia, let's get back to the latest jobs report. Is the White House concerned that the new Omicron variant could impact the nation's economic recovery?
Well, you know, both the Treasury Secretary and the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, testified to Congress that this is something they are worried about because, as we have seen in the past, you know, people tend to get hesitant about going into work, about spending money, going out and eating out at restaurants, as an example. So it's certainly something that they're monitoring. But right now, they are very optimistic about this report, even though the numbers you see right there, 210,000 jobs added, was lower than predicted. Economists say that that number will likely go up after it is revised, because that's exactly what has happened in the past. And the key number that they're looking at is that 4.2 number instead, saying that the unemployment rate is now the lowest that it has been since the beginning of the pandemic. So they are encouraged that the workforce is very active, that people are looking for work as well. So they're trying to keep that momentum, and that's precisely why, Lana, that they do not plan on instituting any more lockdowns or shutdowns, despite the fact that Omicron is here.
While we're on the subject of Omicron, let's talk about the administration's new COVID testing requirement for international travelers. How is the administration alerting Americans who are currently overseas?
Well, the White House says they're using the same channels that they did the first time around, because what's important here is that there's already a policy in place that travelers are aware of, that they have to get a COVID test 3 days before they come to the United States, whether they're Americans or not. So now the tweak is 1 day versus 3 days. So the White House is working with airlines to spread the message. I know that anecdotally, when I traveled abroad, the airlines sent many messages about having to get, make to make sure that you have the proper requirements to enter any country. And so using that, using social media, using the media, they're hoping that people will get the message. But we have to wait to see if people actually receive that message on Monday at midnight when this policy goes into effect, because 3 days and 1 day is very different when you're traveling abroad and already have many things to worry about when you're thinking about returning home.
Absolutely, and we know we have a lot of international viewers as well, so glad to get that message out to all of them. Weijia, on Sunday, the President and First Lady are going to be attending the Kennedy Center Honors, which will air later this month on CBS. It's the first time that a sitting president will be in attendance since 2016. Remind us all, why did former President Trump choose not to attend?
Well, last year there was no in-person performance for the most part because of COVID-19. And then in previous years, the president opted not to go for a variety of reasons. The White House said it was because they didn't want to make the event political in any way, and they wanted the honorees to be able to have the spotlight. Several of those honorees, I should say, including Cher, for example, Lin-Manuel Miranda, have been very vocal about how they feel about President Trump, and they did not want that animosity that was very public to be on display. And so that's why the president decided not to go, so that the attention would not be taken away from those people who were being celebrated that night. So he never attended as president one of the Kennedy Center Honors shows.
It's always great, though, to see those artists being recognized. Weijia, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks.
Sure.